Hey, this is Jack with the West Central Montana Avalanche Center. I'm here to talk to you about the season snowpack summary from the start of the winter till February 1st. Let's dive in. Our first hint of winter came on October 19th. We had a storm roll in and deposit 6 to 18 inches of snow at upper elevations across the forecast zone. Users were getting out in the northern Bitterroot, and we had a few observations for that time. In the month that followed the first storm, we were left pretty high and dry. There were only a couple days with daytime highs below freezing. This meant that all of our mid and low elevation snowpack melted, with snow only lingering at high north aspects, such as Lilo Peak and St. Mary's. With the warm temps during this time, let loose problems were reported via observations. Winter returned on November 24th, and we got 8 or more inches of new snow across the forecast zone. This new snow fell on a stout crust, and a layer of facets formed between the storm slab and the crust. This was opening day for many backcountry areas, and in the following week, we had our first user-reported dry snow avalanche. The avalanche was remotely triggered from the ridgeline, and the start zone was a wind-loaded feature where the slab was likely hard enough to propagate on the facet layer. Our next major weather event was an atmospheric river. This was the first of 3 atmospheric river events during December, and it began on December 5th. During this event, the snow fell as what we call upside down, so it started off cold and then warmed up. We picked up 17 to 28 inches of snow during this event with water totals between 2 to 7 inches. At mid elevations, the snow fell on the ground and slab avalanches were unlikely. This new load was the first major test of our persistent weak layer on high north aspects. Lots of high quality user observations helped convey that the persistent weak layer was active around the region. Users found cracking, collapsing, and propagation in snow pits during travels, where the new snow fell on existing snow. This new snow tipped the snowpack into a natural avalanche cycle. 5 days later, we received our second atmospheric river event of December. This atmospheric river event was notably warmer, with snow levels rising to above 8,000 feet, and we received between 2 to 8 inches of rain across the forecast zone. This rain completely saturated the snowpack, and the new weight of water further tested our persistent weak layers. We didn't see as many natural avalanches as expected, but hazard was still high. Following the second atmospheric river event, where rain saturated the snowpack up to 8,000 feet, a third atmospheric river came in. This was the one that backcountry users had finally been waiting for. Up to 2 feet of new snow fell across the region, but was accompanied by gale force winds as the storm moved in. These winds, combined with ice and saturated ground, led to significant downfall that limited access across the region for most users. These strong winds formed large wind slabs at upper elevations that were suspected to be sensitive because of the firm bed surface below. At mid and lower elevations, where the snowpack was saturated, no snow was available for transport to create wind slabs. In the week that followed the third atmospheric river event, contracts were finalized with the Forest Service to allow avalanche forecasts in the Rattlesnake and Bitterroot ranges beginning on December 25th. These initial forecasts rated the danger as moderate, highlighting lots of uncertainty regarding the persistent weak layers and the lingering wind slabs from the third atmospheric river event. On December 26th, 12 to 20 inches of new snow fell across the region, and danger bumped from moderate to considerable overnight. To wrap up 2025, high pressure moved in, and we had our coldest temps of the year. The cold temps led to near-surface faceting and surface hoar in some areas. Observations during this time were still reporting propagation in pits around the atmospheric river crust, indicating that persistent weak layers were still a concern in our snowpack. The first few days of 2026, high pressure lingered, and then on January 6th, the faucet turned back on and brought 1 to 3 feet of new snow at mid and upper elevations across the forecast zone. As the storm arrived, avalanche danger rose to considerable and then returned to moderate. Snow pits were still showing poor snowpack structure, and there were questions and concerns as to whether the new snow would tip the snowpack into an avalanche cycle. There was also uncertainty regarding the weak layers that had developed during the high pressure and whether they could fail with the new snow load. As the storm wrapped up on January 10th, high pressure moved in and temps rose above freezing at most elevations. Following the warm-up, Arctic air moved into the region from the east and lingered for days. These cold temps drove faceting in the upper snowpack at all elevations in all regions of the forecast zone. Surface hoar growth was present across the forecast zone on all aspects and all elevations during this time and existed anywhere open to the sky and sheltered from wind, including solar aspects. It was a dry January, no doubt about it. At the end of the month, the forecast zone picked up a few inches of new snow that fell on top of the surface hoar and preserved it upright at most aspects and elevations. Moving forward, winter isn't over. We have a notoriously touchy weak layer, and when snow returns, conditions will likely be tricky. I can easily see myself getting powder fever, but it's important to remember the hazards below our feet. We've greatly appreciated everyone's high-quality observations this year. We're looking forward to collectively sharing pow turns in the back half of this season, or at least some sunshine and smiles with everybody. Thank you to our sponsors, and we look forward to seeing you all out there. Cheers.